Welcome to Ask Cadence, ladies and gentlemen, the project management podcast. My name is Pete Wright, and I am sitting here once again with John Patton. John, welcome back.
Good morning, Pete. Good to see you. And as I'm looking out the window, I'm so happy to see some sunlight in Oregon. It has been a dreary winter and spring.
And long. It is about time. I feel like we've earned this sunshine. Really.
Yes.
We're taking on a pretty serious issue today.
This one's one that really can really be felt in the hearts of the people on the team.
Really, this comes directly from a very recent project. You know, we usually sit down and we read the problem cards that come out of our Cadence project management seminar. And this problem card comes from a key individual in a very recent class that you taught. Mm-hmm. And the card reads as such: what happens when a key team member is in the hospital with no set return date scheduled? Is an unexpected, diminished resource. The specialist is out sick, stroke.
Yeah.
So we're dealing here with what I would classify as a devastating loss to the team. Mm-hmm. Would you share that?
Yeah, and let's include in this one, Pete, even a death on the team. Both of these are traumas.
Right.
And so one death is that's sort of a thing that is going to impact the team very hard. When a person has a serious life-threatening illness, then that brings uncertainty to the team. And the project manager in their leadership role is going to have to deal with these.
Right. And so when you define sort of rehabilitation from a trauma, a devastating loss to the team, how do you start thinking about rehabilitating a team? Where do you start helping a team rebuild and move on? Well,
one is that you have to allow the team to do some grieving. There's a practical aspect of this, and there's a human relationship aspect of this. Human beings do have a need to grieve the absence of a person who's very seriously, their life is threatened, and you have to allow them to do that and give them some assurances. You don't know what the person's personal beliefs are, but what you want to do is show some confidence and some willingness to support. So there is an announcement to the team as a whole, and then there is an offer: I'm willing to talk to anybody one-on-one about where we go from here. Now, I'm going to spend the rest of the day looking at options. It's going to take us, 3 to 4 days before we find out how bad this stroke really is. Or if it's a heart attack, for example, if there is any permanent damage from the heart attack. But let's understand that the priority, and then name the individual of so-and-so, is recovery at this point in time. We don't want them thinking about work. We don't want them worrying about work. Now, by the way, a parenthesis here, Pete, we know that a person who is achievement-oriented will be doing that, and they'll be worrying.
Right, no matter what you do.
Oh, yeah. So there's an individual aspect that we have to address, too. But you've asked about the team.
Right.
So let's be thinking about what the options are and alternatives are available to us, because we know that person X is not going to be available to us for quite a while here. There may be quite a recovery period, and they need to be able to focus on their therapy or rehabilitation. So at maximum, we could count on maybe a half a day, but that's going to be 2-3 months into the future. We just don't know. So then you go down the same path in terms of replacing the person. The practical aspect of the project.
Now it's a human resources issue.
You're right, Pete. It's a human resources issue, and your ally is going to be the manager of that person who loaned you them, and start to discuss alternatives with them. What can they do to give us additional resource, temporary resource, to bridge the gap? Now, Pete, so far we've talked about things like a stroke and a heart attack as our examples. And those may be age-related and lifestyle-related, but I do want to make sure that we're including in this, for the younger people who are listening, that it can be accidents that take people away from work. So there's there's no age group that is immune from the kind of thing which is going to pull them from the work environment, and that any one of these can cause some kind of trauma for the team. Let's focus for a second back on the team. Teams have an identity, and when they're impacted, some teams will want to pull together and make up for that person's absence. And the project manager in that case needs to have a discussion with them about their availability and their skill levels. In some cases, it's going to be very clear that we need an additional resource. And
in some cases, the team as it exists in this new reality may not be capable of.
They may feel overwhelmed.
Right.
So the project manager's job is to understand this team and get them what they need. If there's a sense of overwhelming, then it becomes very urgent to perhaps discuss with the functional manager who lent you to the person, going outside to get an expert and making sure that the project budget can pay for this expert who will just pick up things and keep them going, particularly in the short term until we can get a resource that can stay with us for the rest of the project, if that's what we're facing. Go ahead.
Well,
Pete.
One of the things that we know in terms of recuperating from a devastating sort of illness, a blow like that, personally, is that you have to learn to trust yourself. You have to learn to trust your body again. That you are capable of doing the things that you were able to do before. After 2-3 months, is there a similar dynamic at work in the team? The team, the world of the team, sort of learning to trust themselves and learning to rehabilitate after the loss of a key individual?
Well, that's one of those it depends sorts of things. The team is going to be torn. Some people have strong relationship needs, and they will want to make sure that the person who is now gone is okay. They're going to care a lot about the people that are still there. Now, others have low relationship needs, and their response to trauma is to work hard. So here the project manager is in this human sort of role of addressing the people with relationship needs and addressing the people with the work needs according to their individual preferences. There are actually some people in an environment about this, like this, saying things like, let's get on with it. There's been enough of this moaning and groaning. Let's get on with it.
Let's get back to work.
The project manager says, takes them aside and says, now give them a couple of days here, and things will come around. And I think that you can set a great example by working really hard and showing that you're carrying the project forward with the person. I really hear you. We really like them. Have the dialogue with the team as it suits the individual on the team. At the team level, your question is there a regression or a lack of confidence with the team or trust sort of issue? That's when the new member comes on. Okay, integrating that new member becomes very important, because teams tend to regress to a previous level of comfort with each other when a new member is added.
That's the sort of interpersonal system shock.
Yes, Cog's ladder calls it bid for power.
Sure.
When a new person is integrated, there's a polite phase where they're being introduced, and
don't tell them everything until we trust them.
Why are we here? Well, usually people are very trusting in the beginning. Don't tell them everything. That's the bid for power. When the person starts to assert themselves, should we trust this person?
Right.
And after a trauma, they could be very hard on the new person, because they're replacing somebody, if that person was loved. If the person was a difficult person, I don't want to joke here, but there might be some pretty strong acceptance where you have a new opportunity with a new person here. So the thing that I want to emphasize here is that the situation is very fluid, and it's going to pull on the project manager's human relationship skills, social skills, understanding of behavioral profiles to restore this team to health. Now, I want to talk about the individual level,
Sure.
because there may be some parallels back to the project team here. One of the biggest impacts to a person that's been through a trauma which may be life-threatening is that their confidence in what their body and mind can do is pretty much up in the air. And those two things are addressed in the rehabilitation program. What can my mind now do? What can my body now do? Can I rebuild both of them? Is there a way? Is there hope? And that's for the specialists in the program. As I think about this, there's not a direct parallel to the project team. It is more short-term, these sorts of things, because the team still has varying degrees of health, but they're stable in wherever they are. Mm-hmm. And so we want to get the productivity of the team back and the camaraderie. It's just a sort of a final comment on that. When teams have great resilience, Pete. Human beings have great resilience. And they understand when someone is taken from us temporarily or permanently, that life does go on. And there's this decision, well, we have to go forward. So the trauma sequence, shock, a little bit of anger and disbelief, how could this possibly happen to us at this critical point in the project, gradual acceptance of the facts, and then a desire to pull things together and go forward or not.
It's a great topic, and it seems like it's always we're always talking about these more serious issues when they occur, which may be akin to putting the stop sign up after the accident. And in this case, it's good to reflect on how the team deals with significant impacts. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, Pete, it's a pleasure as always to discuss the more difficult topics. Let's understand that there's a great deal of stress due to the economy in the workplace today, and we've got an aging population.
Right.
Which says there are going to be some impacts in people around you, depending on the demographics of your work environment.
Well, it is. I can only hope that we've given some additional insight to the person who submitted this question. Again, if you have any questions or comments on the show, please write us, cadence@cadencemc.com. And on behalf of John Patton, thank you so much for joining us again, Jonathan. Great to catch up.
It's a pleasure, Pete, as usual.
My name is Pete Wright. You can catch us again next time on Ask Cadence, the Project Management Podcast.